This is All Access MMA.
My next guest has got a big fight coming up here now on May 21st at Bellator 259. She's going to be taking on Valerie Loureda. It's Hannah Guy joining me here on the program for the very first time. Hannah, how's it going?
It's going great.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. Big opportunity. Tell me how this all came together with you linking up with Bellator.
Well, I signed with First Round Management with Matt Weeble. Weeble. I always get his last name.
So do I, and I've known Matt for years, so I don't blame you. So
a few months ago, and actually somebody reached out to me on Facebook, and I wasn't sure it was like legit, so I just told him to talk to my manager, and then he called me like 30 minutes later, and he's been looking for a fight for me with LFA, but he was like, if you and your coach look at it and you think it's good, I think, it's a winnable fight for you. And, it definitely like puts you on the map more. So we kind of talked about it, discussed it, and we thought it was a good move. So we're doing it.
Yeah, and a big opportunity. And what's interesting is Valerie's also rep by First Round. I know with a different agent, but did that make the negotiation a bit easier in terms of getting the fight together?
Possibly. He did mention that, and he was like, we didn't want to let y'all pass up an opportunity just because y'all are signed by the same people. So,
that's awesome. Well, like I mentioned, it's a really big fight. We'll get into sort of the fight itself and all that in a second here, but I wanted to know, where did this journey start for you? How did you get involved in combat sports?
I started watching The Ultimate Fighter, actually.
Nice. Same here. That's what got me into the sport, so we share that in common.
I started watching the Ronda Rousey Miesha Tate season, and actually the guy I was dating at the time got me into the show because he was like super into it, and he was like, you would really like this season. And so I started watching it, and I thought it just looked super cool. I've never been like the athlete type, but I was like, that looks like something I would actually enjoy and like possibly like do well with. So, anyways, we finished the season and then finally got up the courage to like go to a gym. And, as soon as I like went in, I knew like I was going to love it. And so I just went ahead and signed up before I even did a jiu-jitsu class. And, I was right. I was completely obsessed. I would go to every single class I could. At the time, I had a job like I wasn't a big fan of. I was just working at a daycare, which I like working with kids, but it wasn't my dream job for sure.
Understood.
And so I would like ask for like mornings off so I can go to class. Like I was completely obsessed. And then one day I had probably been training about 10 months, and my coach came up to me, and I would always do the MMA class, but I never really expressed interest in fighting or competing really. I had competed in jiu-jitsu a little bit, but he was just like, hey, there's some fights coming, SFC, which Matt also runs, and he said, there's some fights coming up in Tupelo, like, do you want me to see if we can find you an opponent? And I just thought about it, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And ever since then, like it's kind of just always given me like a goal to go towards, and a way to get ripped up and get in shape, but also to like really improve like my jiu-jitsu and striking during those times. And it's just a lot of fun. It's like a really fun challenge for me.
And what interesting timing too, that you're getting this big fight with Bellator when Miesha Tate's coming back, right? The season that got you into the sport, right?
That's so awesome. I love her as a fighter.
Yeah, I'm excited for that fight in July. Now, you mentioned working at a daycare. Do you still do that, or what do you do on the side for work?
No, actually, right after my second amateur fight, I started working just as like an appointment setter, just getting like new people in at the gym.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And eventually became a coach. After I got my blue belt, I was helping out with like the beginners and the kids mainly. And then I was a kickboxing coach as well. So, and now I'm more in like a manager type role with that, but still kind of doing the same thing. But I love it, like it's really cool that I get to like train for a living and also like train other people and like help them lose weight and learn how to defend themselves, stuff like that. It's pretty awesome.
I'd say so. That's great. So you talked about the Bellator deal off the top. Is that a multi-fight deal, or is it just one fight and then you see how it goes, so to speak?
I think for this it's just a one time. But I know they like need women, so I'm sure that I'll get other opportunities like that.
Yeah, and it's a huge like Valerie, like, to her credit, she's done a fantastic job of branding herself. Like, I don't know many fighters who have such few fights but have done such a good job of branding themselves. Like, Valerie's a well-known name in the combat sports community. So, like I mentioned, big opportunity there. How do you feel like you match up against her in this fight? That was one of the things I was going to ask you.
Honestly, like, I see that she's done well in Bellator, but I haven't really seen that she's fought like someone as tough as me. And so I don't know. I think with like stylistically, it's kind of a bad fight for her just because, you know, I have a really good ground game. And my striking has improved a lot. And so I just think like she does have, you know, props to her on like the taekwondo, and like I've heard she's like world class with that, but I just think stylistically I was kind of surprised she took the fight, honestly, just with how I am, but I think it's definitely going to be awesome to watch and a really exciting fight for sure.
What's it like? I mean, let's call it what it is. You're being brought in to lose to a certain extent. I mean, I think if Bellator had it their way, someone that they put all this time and energy into in Valerie, they want to continue to see her winning. You have the opportunity to spoil that. What's that like? Do you embrace that, or does it kind of bother you? Like, because, you know, you're going to have her fans after her as well. You know, those are going to come into the woodwork leading up to the fight, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we have like the same type of following, because it just seems like we have very different personalities in the way we brand ourselves.
Right. I know where you're getting at with this. 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, either way, I think she's still going to have a huge following, whether she wins or loses, and I think they know that. And I think they also know they need women fighters, and they know I'm kind of in it for the long run. So I think that was a reason they kind of reached out to me. And she's probably had some issues like finding opponents too.
For sure. Yeah. Probably for that exact reason. They know, like, hey, this is their star in their promotion, right? That they're really sort of building on. But on that flip side, like, you're on a one fight deal. Like, is that kind of in a way like freeing, knowing that you don't have a ton to lose here? Like, if you lose, you're only on a one fight deal. She's got to win this fight, right? I mean, there's got to be something to that as well mentally for you, just knowing like, hey, I can go out there and do whatever I got to do.
Honestly, I do not feel any pressure for this fight at all. Like, I know back home, like, all my people are just super excited for me. Like, I live in a small town in Mississippi, so like this is a big deal. And also, you know, one of the guys that I train with, Ben Parrish, is actually fighting on the same card, so it's super, super exciting either way. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, you totally answered my question. Why was the fight moved? I think initially it was supposed to be May 7th, was it not, or something? And then I see now it's on the 21st.
I'm not really sure why it was moved. I don't know if it was like because we got matched up so late, and maybe they're trying to get like all the stuff together as far as like
and promote it as well too, I'm sure, right? I mean, maybe that's it, because it's kind of, May 7th in a few weeks, right? So.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not really sure. But I knew I was going to be able to make weight because I've already been kind of getting ready for a fight, like just like planning, like trying to get my weight where I need it to be, and just like ready any day now. And so I was ready for May 7th, but 3 more weeks, I mean, that only helps. So.
You mentioned Ben. Who else are you training with? Who are some of your main training partners for this fight?
He's actually not a main training partner.
Oh, he's not?
A good friend. He lives like an hour away.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But he likes to work with me, my striking a lot. He's super amazing. A lot of people underestimate him, but he's an awesome fighter, and he's really entertaining to watch. But my main training partners are actually from people out of town, just because I don't have a lot of people my size, which I'm sure a lot of women struggle with. Probably not Valerie, because she's, you know, at one of the biggest gyms in the world. But, you know, I have such a small gym that I'm at, and there's just not a lot of small people that are at my level. So I usually have to either go to other gyms or other people come to me. And it's so awesome. Like, people are so willing to, like, come help me train for all my fights, but for this one as well, they're just super willing to like come out and drive hour and a half to come, help me out. So it's really great.
Where are some of the gyms you train at, and who are some of the people you train with out of town, like you were mentioning there?
Yeah, I have Ashley Michelle Coker out of Cobra Jiu-Jitsu, and then I have people at my gym as well. Actually, Dan Shapiro, he's going pro. He's a really, really good striker. He's been boxing since he was really little. So he's helped me a lot. We have more strikers at our gym. It's usually the grappling that I have to have some help with, but no big names or anything, just like under the radar.
Up and comers though, these are names we could be seeing in a few years, right? So it's always good to give them a plug, right? So that's awesome. But... how do you see the fight playing out on May 21st?
It seems like I haven't actually watched her tapes. My coach does want me to. For the most part, usually I never watch tapes. I let my coach do all that, and I let him just train me how I need to be trained for the fight. But he actually wants me to watch this just because of all the hype and everything, and he feels like it would get my nerves down, which I'm super excited. Honestly, I'm not nervous, but I think, which this is what my coach has told me. She circles a lot, kind of stays in kick range, and wants you to come to her. So obviously I see that happening. We've been working, distance closing, and obviously my game, takedowns, getting into the ground, getting into the wall, that kind of thing. So I kind of see that happening.
Okay. No, that sounds great. We talked all about fighting. I know that's a big part of your life right now, but what about outside the cage? Are you watching any Netflix or do you have any other hobbies outside of, I'm just curious, kind of outside of your fighting career, what are some hobbies that you have or some things you like doing?
Right. Well, I live in a van, actually.
Oh, cool. That's kind of neat.
A little bit as far as that goes. It's in the shop right now, so I'm just staying with some friends. But that's kind of, I love, doing anything outside. I've recently got super into bike riding, hiking, that kind of stuff. That's cool. But other than that, it's mainly training or hanging out with people I train with, honestly. So
hold on, back to this van thing. I'm very intrigued because I like camping and stuff. So I want to know all about this. So was that something you just by choice that you decided to live in a van, or was it is it just cheaper to do that? Why, and how long have you lived in a van for?
It was kind of like a freedom type thing, just so I didn't have to be stuck in any one place.
Right. And for training, I'm sure it's good too, because you can go let's say you go train late, you can sleep in your van, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's just kind of freeing, and I like the minimalistic part of it. And so, I don't know. I just decided to get it, and I love doing it. It has everything I need: shower, toilet.
Oh, bed. So it's kind of more like an RV then, right?
Yeah, but it's super, super small. It's only 21 feet long. And it's a kind of old school. It's a 97 Winnebago Rialta.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
My wife and I, this is a couple of years ago, we did a road trip from California basically to Vegas, and we used what's called a juicy van, which is a regular van, but it folds up into a bed, and it's got a kitchen in the back, no bathroom, right. But it has, and then it also has a thing on top if you want to sleep up there. It was great. Consider, and you know how expensive California is. We were going to every RV park. It was super cheap to go travel for an entire week. It was great. So I can relate.
Sure. I want to get more into traveling further away and doing that, but right now it's awesome as far as just, well, hopefully it's out of the shop soon, but my plan was to, when I cross train, be able to just stay there and spend the night if I need to, and then come back,
Very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to this Bellator debut. It's coming up here May 21st. It's Bellator 259. Hannah, thanks so much for the time. This was awesome. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah. Hannah Guy MMA on most platforms. Hannah Guy on Facebook. Facebook's probably my most active one. But I've been trying to push more on Instagram as well, so follow me there. And then as far as sponsorships go, I have some in the works, so I don't want to say anything
That's
yet.
why you got to keep an eye on the social media, because you'll be posting it there, right?
Yeah, right. But Supersonic Car Wash, they've sponsored me since my very first amateur fight, so they've been awesome. And then my gym, mainly Relentless MMA, they help me pay for a lot of stuff when I don't have the money, you know, things like that. They make sure I get all my training time in, besides, you know, the work that I do there. So pretty awesome. But those are my main two right now, and then watch my social media for other ones.